Everyone, welcome back to Howtechs. Today we have an iPhone 12 Pro Max Hong Kong edition with the dual SIM. This is actually the Pacific Blue 512 gigabyte version. We're going to show you how the dual SIM tray works, how to put in and take out SIM cards on this. If you want to see how the software works, I've done previous videos on the Pro and also the 11 and the 10 dual SIM versions, so definitely check those out if you want to get more in depth. But let's first get our SIM removal tool. If you don't have one from a previous phone, it should be in this little packet here. If you don't have that, you can always use like a paper clip, and you want to find the hole on the iPhone 12 Pro Max and also on the Pro. It's here on the left side. On some, I think on 11 it's on this side, but basically just look for this little tray with the hole, and you want to push in straight, firmly, kind of hard. Yeah, there we go. And you got to get your fingernails under the edge. So yeah, pull out firmly, straight out, and here is our tray. So as you can see, it has room for 2 SIM cards. So here you can see on the top, the notch is right there and it just lays on top. And on the bottom, there's actually a spring that it locks in with. Okay, so let's demonstrate putting the SIM cards in. We're going to take a nano SIM and we're going to put it in the bottom first. This is the side with the spring. So you kind of just want to slide it in head first, push that spring up, and then the bottom will lock in. And it should be pretty firmly seated so it doesn't fall out. So yeah, and then we want to take our other one and now put it on the other side. Again, the notch on the top right with the metal contacts facing out. So the key thing here is remember that this top one can fall out. So just be careful. Make sure you don't drop your nano SIM on the floor and lose it. Okay, so now that we have our SIM card sandwich, we have the hole here on the bottom, and you want to have it orientated like this. So basically make sure that you have it in the right way. It actually won't even fit the other way, but don't try to force it. And so yeah, it might be a little bit fat and you kind of have to slide it to get the contacts to go in the right place. And then you just want to make sure that you push it in straight. You want to make sure that the O-ring doesn't get pinched, and then make sure that it's all the way smooth. And if it's the first time you've done this, it'll actually ask you to set up cellular. So let's just go through this really fast. Okay, so you can see it's recognized both cards, figured out the phone numbers, and it's actually asking you to label them. So you might have like work line or home line or personal line. So you can actually edit these, and there's some standard ones. You can also type in a custom one. So I might call it Japan SIM. So label it Japan, hit done, and there's relabeled. Okay, let's go to the next. So next up we have the default line. So this is like obviously the number that you call out from if you're going to make a phone call. You can also assign it on a case-by-case basis for certain contacts. So for example, your work colleagues' phone calls should come from your work number, etc. So anyway, let's just pick primary for this one. And you can also set the one for your iMessages and FaceTime, the default, which of course you can always switch. And so let's pick that one. And your cellular data. This one's probably the most important because you might have different data plans and different roaming abilities, and you want to make sure you're using the right one in the right place. Data switching is kind of risky. So that would say like, okay, if I'm in a place where this SIM card has better signal, switch to use this one. And if I'm in a place where they're both equal, go back to the default. But this is risky because, say for example, on this one I might only have 1 gigabyte of data, and this one I might have 100 gigabytes of data. So I want to use this one all the time and save this one or not go over. So it really depends on what your plans are and what happens when you max out, because the phone doesn't know, what the limit is. So I always keep this one turned off. So anyway, the data will be coming from here, and that's basically it. And if you go into the settings and you go to cellular, you can actually adjust everything that we set up by default. So default voice line, you can switch basically the default cellular line, and also if you want to do the data switching, you can switch those. And then within each card, it'll actually save all the cards that you've put in, even though they're not in the phone right now. So if you switch back and forth between multiple cards, you don't have to reset this. It basically remembers based on the number. But for the cards that are in here right now, these two, you can turn them individually on and off. So for example, if I'm out of the country and I don't want to get SMS on this line, I can switch it off even though I'm leaving the card in the phone. That's kind of nice. And then within here, you can also adjust certain things, like you can obviously change the label, you can turn it on and off, You can select the network, or you can have it auto select SIM pin. I guess some people use that. Turn roaming on and off, the data mode. In this case, standard, allow more data on 5G. I think this is the one where if you don't need 5G, it doesn't use it in standard, but if you do need 5G, it'll basically switch it on, and this one will keep 5G on all the time. So I'll just keep 5G on all the time, maybe. So that's basically it for this. Let's just show one quick case where if you wanted to make a phone call, you see the SIM labels up here, the different lines I have. So I can basically choose which line I want to call before I make a phone call every time, or the default will always come up first. So last but not least, let's just show really fast how to remove the SIMs. It's basically the same steps except taking the card out. So you want to keep the phone facing upwards so that that top SIM doesn't fall out by accident like this. And for the second one, you can just pop it out by pushing the back. And don't forget to put the tray back and get it seated nicely. And again, be careful of that rubber O-ring around the tray and make sure that it's all the way smooth. Also, by the way, this finish does attract a lot of fingerprints, so be careful. Okay, so that's it for today. If you guys have any questions or comments about the dual SIM Hong Kong edition, also available in China, dual SIM iPhone 12 Pro Max, 6.7-inch display, 512 gigabyte blue in this case, do let us know, and see you guys next time here on Howtechs. Definitely check out my unboxing and other how-to videos for this phone and many others. We've done the 12 recently and the 12 Pro. So see you guys next time. Bye. Everyone, welcome back to Howtechs. Today we have an iPhone 12 Pro, hot off the presses. I just picked it up at the Apple Store. It is the morning of the release, the 23rd of October.